Latinos work hard. I mean, like we work really hard, but why does it always feel like we're trying to play catch up when it comes to comparing ourselves to other groups in North America? Despite sometimes we have the same jobs, similar traits, most of our community barely makes it to the next paycheck, but everybody else always just seems to be doing better, right? Is that just a coincidence? I don't think so. So here's a real reason why Latinos struggle so much to succeed in North America. Coming from me, a son of a Latino family, when I was 16, I got kicked out of my house. And I wasn't like a troubled kid doing drugs or anything wild. It was just because in our families, once you hit a certain age, papito, you gotta leave, figure it out. There's like this pressure to grow up fast and take care of yourself and your parents. No matter how young you are, some parents think life will teach you lessons better than everybody else can. Now, hear me out. I had an Italian friend, right, in high school, and we both had the same job, and we both made around $3,000, give or take, a month. For him and for me, that was a lot of money. I mean, you're 17, $3,000 a month. But I was one bad decision away from ending up on the streets. Why? Well, I had bills. I had rent. I had car insurance. In Canada, when you're a new driver, insurance is through the roof. I was driving a Ford Focus and my insurance was $500 a month because I was primary driver. My Italian friend had no rent and he was a secondary driver, so he was paying like $150 a month. My car was at least $1,000 a month just to keep on the road. By the time me and the same friend, same education and everything, by the time we turned 25, he had money saved, $40,000 in good credit and no debt. And what did I have? Pile of debt, credit cards and everything, car insurance, all that stuff. Why? Because my friend didn't have to pay car insurance, rent, and I did. Every paycheck I made was already spoken for before it even hit my account. This guy was like stacking cash, investing, and planning for the future. Meanwhile, I was just stuck trying to keep up. And for a second, I thought maybe I was just an idiot, unlucky, why me? But then I realized what was really going on. I grew up in survival mode. And I know a lot of you guys are too. A lot of the younger guys are. But that mentality will keep you stuck because it kept me stuck. But when I realized this, I changed my thoughts about money and about life. It's because of that decision that I have the life that I have now. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'm not wealthy, but I have a pretty good life. I have good income and a really good work-life balance and an amazing company that I own, that I run, and a good business, and I love my employees and they take really good care of me. I'm not doing these videos because I have to. I do them because I want to, and I'm having a great life. And that's why I'm here, to hopefully teach you, so that way you can actually break the cycle of poverty that keep many of us trapped. I don't have anything to sell right now. I just want to explain to you why Latinos don't get ahead in North America.
I didn't hear talked about growing up in the Hispanic community is the word generational wealth.
It's gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable, but I'm gonna keep it real. The reason why Latinos don't get ahead in North America is because of the way we're raised to think about money and life. You talk to a lot of like Latino parents and they'll say this: si me muero hoy, nada me llevo conmigo, ¿para qué? You know what I mean? They'll show you like the casket of the rich person and the poor person. At the end of the day, we end up in the same place. We live for today, we grind, hustle, and do whatever it takes to keep our families afloat. But here's the thing, that mentality is what keeps us stuck. Because think about it. How many Latino families teach their kids about credit? How to increase your credit score? How many of them teach them about saving, investing? And the biggest thing about our people, how many Latino families are teaching their kids about delaying gratification? Not many. Why? Because if I live for today, if I die tomorrow, what do I take with me? So why do I care? You know what I mean? And don't even get me started about the parents that all they do is pray for their kids, because that's just a cop-out. If you pray for your kid, when they do well, you take credit. When they don't do well, it's because they're sinners. So if all you do is praying, then you're just doing it for yourself to make yourself feel better. But listen, most of us grow up hearing, if you have money today, spend it today, because tomorrow is not promised. By the way, this mindset is not something we learn at home. Like, it's everywhere. Rappers drowning in debt. Look at Tekashi 6ix9ine, not even paying taxes because they're just trying to maintain lifestyles they can't afford, especially now with social media. When the parents say one thing, society says the same thing, and they see everybody else living in that way, it's only natural for them to follow suit. I know friends who swear they have no money to invest, but then they're always on vacation. They go to Greece, Europe. They have this crazy lifestyle, and that's just crazy. And oh wow, my Italian friend that I was telling you about, because of the way he was raised, they're just playing the long game. I mean, they let this guy live at home until he was like late 20s. I'm 35, so like I remember him living in the house not that long ago, like 6-7 years ago. And why do they do that? When he left, well, he had no debt. He had a lot of savings. He actually had a house to move to that he owned. And I'm like, why isn't every family doing this for their kids. Like, the cost in North America is higher than ever. You know, my grandfather, if he was here, he could have bought land for peanuts. But this generation have it so much tougher. So if you let your kids go too early into the world and not help them, you're setting them up for a life of struggle. But Chris, you're not struggling. Bro, you didn't see the struggle. What you're seeing right now is literally like 20 years of hard work to the point where my back destroyed. You know, there's days I can't even move. There's times where I had to go to the hospital. All the construction and wear and tear. You know what I mean? You're seeing at least 12 years of not vacation. You're seeing a guy who, like, anything from stocking milk to construction to security. If you know about me, you know I've done all of it. Maybe I got a little bit lucky in the fact that, like, I strike gold. I found something that works. And for the last 5-6 years, I've been making decent money. A lot of you guys know me personally, and you know that, like, how passionate I am about things and how manic I get to do good at things. And you know, if I had to wax floors for a living, I'll be one of the fucking best floor waxers in the whole fucking country, because I don't do things halfway. I don't have a victim mentality. I don't have a victim mindset. For those of you guys that want to have a beer here and there, you want to watch the game, you know, and you don't have to go all in like I did. Sometimes the best thing we can do if you do have kids is just be present. And if you can't give them anything, don't ask for anything. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say a friend, because I don't, you know how it works. A friend, like, his dad is always asking him for money. It's like, dude, sometimes the best thing you could have done is not ask. If you can't give, at least don't ask. But it's like, you know, I worked in car sales for a very long time, selling cars, and then I did finance. And the amount of parents, and it will piss me off because a lot of them were Latino parents. A fucking 45-year-old loser who drinks every fucking night. Think about today. If I die today, what do I take with me? The amount of people like that will bring their kid to co-sign for them to have another car because they themselves were a fuck up. What are you gonna do? I get it. Like, being an immigrant is tough. You know, parents came here with nothing, no connections, no financial education, no generational wealth. You gotta give them a break because they had to do what they had to do to survive. But that mentality gets passed down to us. And here's the truth. If we keep thinking like this, we're just gonna set up our kids to repeat the cycle. And just look around. How many Latinos do you know who drive average cars, live paycheck to paycheck, and never take a real vacation? They're stuck in the same financial trap their parents were in, and worse, because they're passing it on to their kids. They're kicked out too soon, you know? It's like, fuck, I did the bare minimum to keep you alive for 15 years. Go out, live, make something out of yourself, and you take care of me for the rest of your life. And by the way, when I die, I'm not leaving you anything. You know how many Latinos out there, parents, don't have a will and never have a will? And I'm telling you, if you're a parent and you don't have a will, you living your kids the end of their relationship. You're living them a fight where the most petty and biggest piece of shit is gonna take most of it. And then there's gonna be the ones that are gonna walk away with nothing because they just don't care about it enough to fight and ruin the relationship. So if you don't have a will, this is your sign. Leave your kids something. I'm 35 years old now and I'm just starting to enjoy life. I built a business. I'm doing well. I'm finally taking vacations. I'm doing YouTube, my dream, what I love to do. But it, man, it took years of rewiring my brain, you know, and training my brain and just removing the victim mentality and the survival mentality. Because I realized that I didn't have to live like my parents or like family and just keep repeating their mistakes. And if you're a Latino, I'm gonna tell you this, you don't have to either. Today you can learn a skill just from your phone. You don't need to be rich to set up your kids for success. You just gotta give them the time to grow, save, and prepare for life. Because let's face it, when you're an immigrant, on average, you're 10 years behind. Remember that Italian friend I'm telling you about? When it comes to like credit and savings, I'm 10 years behind him because he was able to buy a house. Maybe I make a little bit more income-wise in terms of what he has in assets and net worth. He's 10 years ahead. All things were equal in terms of our passion, our drive, focus. It's just he had parents that were present. And get this, they just let him stay at home and they were there for him. Meanwhile, the other parents just let you be and pray. Sometimes they pray for you, but that's just to help make themselves feel better. Fucking Latinos, like, we're always putting out fires, putting out our future in the back burner, because by the time we're ready to like chase your big ideas, it's fucking late. And let me tell you, man, life waits for no one. The least you can do, or our parents can do, is just make it harder for the next generation. The other day, I was going through Facebook, I read a quote, and it said the cemetery is full of ideas and dreams that never lived. And that resonated with me. And it hits you in any way, it's a sign that you got more to offer to the world than you realize. Looking back, not everything in my life was was doom and gloom. I mean, I learned a lot from my Italian friend. My stepfamily is Italian, and I learned a lot from him too. Growing up in a Latino family also gave me perspective, but it wasn't until I saw how like my Italian friend's family worked that I realized there was another way to approach life in money. You know, his family always had a plan. They prioritized savings, investing, thinking ahead. They didn't rush him to grow up or expect him to figure things out on his own too early. It was a totally different approach than what I was used to in my Latino family. Instead of being in survival mode all the time, they taught him how to plan for the future, you know, how to go after what he wants, how to make money for him. And looking at his life now, I can see the results. You can choose to buy asset or you can choose to buy a liability. One was going to make you passive income. The other one is going to drain your wealth. Success doesn't happen by chance. So here's my lesson to you. Success is not something that happens by accident. It's all about mindset and how you approach life. And it's not just always about money. It's about how we see ourselves, view our potential, and plan our future. I'm not going to be one of those people that tell you, don't go to college because you can figure it out later. That's bullshit. If you want to go to college, go to college. But here's the truth. There's an 80% chance that your first choice of thing is going to be wrong. And that's completely fine. You've got to be willing to up and get ahead. The biggest risk you can take is doing nothing. And think about it, like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you go for it? I mean, it's very likely that you're able to recover if something goes wrong, right? So then what the just go for it. Open that business. Do the video. You know, we put way too much pressure on the younger generation. And trust me, I know how parents can be. Sometimes they don't give you anything except expectations. I told you my story where my friend was 25 and he had all this money saved, and I was 25 and all I had was debt. And my parents would be like, you know, how come you don't have a house? I'm like, well, remember when you kicked me out when I was 16 and I could not save my salary? Remember how not even one signature to be a secondary driver could have saved me, you know, $600 a month in car insurance? Well, that's probably the reason why I don't have a house. It is what it is. If you messed up, you have time to fix it. The main thing is, if you never give yourself a chance to mess up, you're gonna live a life full of regrets. And I'm gonna tell you something. There's no piece of real estate, there's no stock, there's no cryptocurrency, no mutual fund, no nothing that will give you higher returns than investing in yourself. Because if you're too afraid to take risks and invest in yourself, you'll stay stuck in poverty. So before leaving, just ask yourself, are you playing the short game or the long game? Are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? That one decision could change everything. You have the power to keep the cycle going or to finally break it. What's it going to be? Are you going to be a victim of your circumstances, or are you going to take life by the balls and go after what you really want? This is Chris, Bad Hombres TV. I'll see you next time.